Hello, welcome to Kathaa Yaana. This is Panchatantra Yaana's Apareekshitakarakam segment. We saw in the last video that the judge, after passing his judgment that the Baba be hanged to death after his barbaric act, he began advising the people in the court that no one should be acting on any matters which are ill advised or ill recognized, which is not properly thought of. If done so, that person might undergo extreme regret and remorse. And he began narrating them the story of the lady Brahmin and the mongoose. Dear people, there was once a Brahmin by name Deva Sharma. He had a small family, a wife, and a newly born baby boy. Now, this couple also had a pet, and that pet was a little mongoose. Now, Deva Sharma's wife, the lady, took care of that mongoose just like her own child. She would care for the mongoose just like her baby. She would give it milk, she would give it bath, and whatever it took for her to nurture it, she would do it. But still, she always maintained a distance between the baby boy and the mongoose. She thought it is still, after all, an animal. It is a nasty creature. Never know when it could cause a harm to my baby, she thought, and she was always careful not to let the mongoose near the baby. But one day, this wife had to fetch water. She had to go out to fetch water. So she took the water pot, went to her husband and said, "Dear husband, I am going out to fetch water. Please be vigilant and please be very careful. Don't let the mongoose near our baby." Okay, she said, and she went. But a little later, the Brahmin's friend, one of his friends, came over and called him out for some important and urgent meeting of Brahmins. So this Brahmin Deva Sharma had to leave the house empty. Now the mongoose realized that there was no one at home and he had to guard his baby brother, so he stayed there very vigilant, taking care of the baby boy. Then suddenly he saw a black snake coming slithering towards the cradle of the baby. Looking at it, the mongoose got alert. It thought, "Oh, this is my born enemy. Not just that, it can cause harm to my baby brother. That shouldn't happen. I should save my baby brother's life," he thought, and it immediately pounced on the snake, fought with it very vigorously, and tore the snake to pieces. As a result, there was bloodshed all over. There was blood smeared on the mongoose's face and mouth. Now the mongoose was so happy, it was so elated, it felt proud that it saved the life of its baby brother. And soon it went and stood at the doorstep, thinking that when his master or his master's wife came home and saw him like that, they would be proud of him. But what happened was utter opposite. The lady Brahmin, the wife of the Brahmin, came fetching the water. But when she saw the mongoose standing there with blood all over his face and some spots on the body, she was terrorized. She just stood there numb. Then, realizing that the mongoose should have eaten up her baby boy, without thinking twice, getting extremely angry and wrathful on the mongoose, she didn't think twice and she just dropped that water pot on the mongoose and ran inside to see her child for the last time. But when she went inside, she saw that in the cradle, her baby boy was serene. He was sleeping, calm and sound, safe and sound. But there, underneath the cradle, she saw a snake torn to pieces and blood all over. Then, when she realized what happened, she ran to see the mongoose to help him out. But it was too late. The water pot that she had put on the mongoose, it had killed the mongoose instantaneously. Now, looking at what she had done, the lady Brahmin was overwhelmed with sorrow that she began to hit her head against the wall. She repented. She was remorseful for most part of her life for what she had done without examining. After listening to this, there was a long pause in the court. Then, after everybody came to their senses, one person stood up and asked the judge, "My lord, this is all fine, but sometimes we are still human beings, but sometimes what if we lack that wit, we lack that capacity to examine something if it is right or wrong and what action to take? What do we do then?" The judge said, "If that is so, then you may ask the advice or suggestion from a good friend or some good intentioned people." And to give them an example, he began narrating the story of a weaver who, despite getting a good advice from a very good friend, lost his life. That story is coming up in Panchatantra Yaana's Apareekshitakarakam segment's next video. This is Lakshmi. I will see you there. Thank you.